All my life, I've been a global traveler, seeking cultures and traditions that are just as vibrant today as in times past. We're opening doors, stepping into worlds most never see, because that's where the best stories are, behind closed doors. We're sharing stories of local life and the working world, plus spending time with some of the most interesting people you'd ever want to meet. It's truly privileged access that always leaves me excited to explore more. To build China's grand monuments, the emperors had to conquer both men and terrain. But did you know they also had to tame luck and evil spirits?
The Chinese have some very interesting ancient beliefs. One of the more common ones has to do with thresholds, as the Chinese believe that evil spirits travel along only flat surfaces. Most homes, including this great imperial palace, have raised thresholds to prevent those evil spirits from entering your house.
Evil spirits are also defeated with angled walkways, since spirits travel only in straight lines. Even in modern China, people work hard to avoid bad luck.
In Chinese, the number 4 sounds like death, so it's considered an unlucky number. So in elevators like this one, you won't find a number 4.
And when dining, the Chinese never leave chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice, since it resembles incense in offerings to their ancestors. Conversely, one of the best ways to attract good luck is with the color red. The Chinese use it everywhere. Red doors are said to invite prosperity and good energy, or qi, into the household. Red envelopes, called hongbao, are given on special occasions. They bring good luck and usually have money inside. And if someone wears red clothes during the year of their zodiac symbol, prosperity is sure to follow. But one of my favorite places is Shibazhai Temple on the Yangtze River, with its bridge of luck.
If you manage to cross it in 3 steps, you'll be lucky in love. Women start with the right leg, men with the left. 2, 3. Lucky in love, hopefully.
Food has been at the heart of Chinese culture for centuries. And today, the most common greeting for friends and family is still, "Have you eaten yet?" China offers an incredible variety of tasty dining options. Here are a few you really should get out and experience for yourself.
The Chinese take their food very seriously. There's a wide variety to choose from, and this is real hot pot.
The concept is simple. Just choose from an inviting selection of fresh ingredients, then cook at your table in a natural broth. Hot pot has been a Chinese favorite since the Tang Dynasty. Or try dim sum, where small servings of steamed buns, dumplings, and other delicacies are wheeled from table to table. Peking duck is a favorite of many and usually carved at your table, where a skilled chef can slice more than 100 tasty pieces from a single duck.
It really is a science. This is much more difficult than carving a roast leg of lamb.
And it's delicious. This is definitely worth experiencing.
It's a bit of a magic show. You can hardly believe what he is in the process of producing.
Known as Lamian noodles, a master noodle maker can create these thin noodles simply by tossing the dough in a particular way. My last recommendation is simply fun.
If you're in the mood for something a little bit more exotic, there's Shanghai street food.
While we don't recommend you try this street food, we do recommend a stroll through the night market. It's a fun atmosphere and a chance to see just how unique the delicacies are in different countries around the world. Of course, when you explore China with Viking, Western meals are always available, in your hotels and on board your ship. Legend has it that tea was discovered 5,000 years ago, when an emperor, out touring his kingdom, was served water boiled for purity that accidentally included tea leaves. Ever since, China's misty hillsides have been blanketed with Camellia sinensis, the plant from which all teas are made. China's newly beloved tea quickly became part of the fabric of the culture with the introduction of the tea house, a place where people mingled freely regardless of social status. Some of the original tea houses still exist, including this one, the old Hutong tea house in the middle of a pond near the Yuyuan Gardens. It's believed that this is the model on which the famous willow pattern is based, which introduced China to the Western world on the face of fine porcelain. A love story told on the face of the plates, one version describing a wealthy mandarin's young daughter running off with an ineligible suitor. Chased across the bridge by 3 of the mandarin's guards, the lovers turn into doves and fly away. A story that has no doubt been discussed over countless cups of tea. While you're in China, a great way to learn more about tea is to attend a formal tea ceremony. Much like wine tasting, these events are filled with fascinating little-known details on tea, found in the centuries-old authoritative book, The Classic of Tea, written by Lu Yu. His passion for tea was captured in a single sentence when he said, "Its liquor is like the sweetest dew from heaven." Each evening behind the theatre curtain, a group of talented young performers prepare to test their limits.
We're backstage watching the Shanghai Acrobatic troupe rehearse for tonight's performance. If you like Cirque du Soleil, you'll love this.
It's been said China embraced acrobatics some 2,000 years ago in the Han Dynasty. That's when the emperor first had artists perform for the imperial court. He was mesmerized by their dexterity and strength, their passion and absolute focus. The art form quickly flourished.
Ever since I was very little, I knew that I wanted this life.
关键是如果你热爱这个行业的话，
The key is, if you love your work, you're always energized and pushing to your limits. The audience feels that, and we share the excitement.
The performances are breathtaking, but the joy and spirit these acrobats bring to their art is what really stands out. You can sense their enthusiasm as they strive for perfection, challenging themselves daily to push the envelope, then push it further, and then take it beyond that. You too can explore this art form and perhaps even have a go yourself as you explore the wonders of China with Viking. In 221 BC, China's warring kingdoms were unified for the first time under powerful Emperor Qin Shi Huang. But he is most remembered for the massive tomb complex he built in Xi'an to ensure he would rule with the same power in the afterlife. This was the result, an entire army made of terracotta. Though over 2,000 years old, they were discovered only a few decades ago.
In the pit behind me stand almost 6,000 life-size terracotta soldiers. They were buried along with China's first emperor.
Every single one of these soldiers is unique, and every single one was found broken. The soldier in the best condition was found in only 20 pieces. The soldier in the worst condition was found in 300 pieces. This must be the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle.
The immensity of the sight and expressions on these mighty warriors just hits you in the face.
我每次走到1号坑的时候，仍然感到这种。
Every time I pass by Pit 1, I'm still greatly shaken. Knowing the emperor regularly walked this area and personally approved every sculpture, I can almost feel him standing there, contemplating. This is an incredibly detailed vision of what the most powerful man in China wanted to look upon throughout eternity.
Discovered by farmers digging for a well in 1974, the tomb is slowly revealing its secrets and continues to mesmerize everyone involved.
I've been around the terracotta warriors for 34 years, but I never feel tired of looking at them. Every time I see them, I find something new.
如果每天看，我每天都感到新鲜感。
After 2,000 years, Emperor Qin Shi Huang's Terracotta Army remains on guard, standing resolute and ready to protect him throughout eternity. Ink bonding with paper. Chinese artists have used this combination in unusual ways for millennia. Their strong lines and graceful curves adding character to thought-provoking poetry and tales of history.
In China, calligraphy is not just a form of writing, it's a revered form of art. And Mr. Gao is going to teach me how.
I like to do that. And this is brush. You hold this big brush, big one. I hold another one. Big one is a little easy.
Easier for me,
This
the
part
beginner.
is the wool. This part is bamboo. And this is Chinese ink. We make the ink use this. When we put water, and then we ground here and make the black ink. When we write, usually not put the hand
Okay.
down the table. We have to up, okay? You use the force from here, here, and the waist. The first one is easy.
That's a
First one, you can practice
That's
this,
the
this
basic
stroke.
stroke.
Yes, meaning is one.
It's a good place to start.
You can do the. Yes, very good. But usually do this first this way, and then this way,
I see. Yeah, 210.
and then this way.
Right.
It's better. This way, and this way. Yes. Another one. Let's do the second one is the up. This one, and this way, and this way, and this is up.
That's the character.
The character is up. You do that.
So we...
While grasping the fundamentals came quickly, it was easy to see that the subtlest pressure, twist of an arm, or position of my shoulder dramatically altered the results.
Yes, good.
And I soon understood why calligraphy is an art form one practices, but never truly conquers. One of my favorite places to watch calligraphers is in local parks, where masters spend hours practicing their craft, striving to perfect their rhythm to become one with the brush as they refine their personal style. Emperors and commoners alike have long admired the subtle nuances skilled calligraphers bring to characters. Look closely and you'll start to see it too. One of the easiest places to do this is on board your Viking ship, where an artist sails with you as you cruise the Yangtze River. Legend has it that from the heavens came the inspiration for the Forbidden City, the earthly counterpart to the celestial home of the gods. 600 years later, it retains much of its mystique.
As its name implies, the Forbidden City was forbidden to all but royalty until the fall of the imperial dynasty in 1911. Trespassing was punishable by death, a very high price to pay.
Beyond the imposing moat is a majestic complex that took 14 years and 1 million workers to create. Spanning more than 7 million square feet, its scale, details, and beauty are unparalleled.
我虽然呢，今年呢，快70岁了，但是呢。
Even though I'm close to 70 years old and have come here since I was a small boy, this remains a mysterious place. To me, the Forbidden City is like a treasure book that one must take their time reading to fully understand its legends and superstitions.
In the Forbidden City, every detail was planned and had a philosophical or practical meaning, right down to the tiny roof accents, where the number of statuettes indicate the importance of the building.
故宫的每一座宫殿，每一间房屋里。
Every hall, every courtyard is a feast for the eyes. I've been here too many times to count, yet each time I approach the gates, I can't wait to come back inside.
Welcome to my beautiful Beijing.
Silk. This is where it all begins, with the mulberry tree. And Matthew is going to show us how the mulberry becomes a piece of silk.
Yes, let's go. These are the silkworms. Their life cycle is like 30 days, so I think now they're like 24 days old.
Can I touch one?
Of course, pick up one.
I've never really wanted to touch a worm, but these look very touchable.
Their body now is full of liquid, and the liquid will later become silk. When they're ready to spin the silk cocoon, they will put their forehead up, and then they won't eat anything. When the silkworms are ready, they will be taken here and they're put on the straw mountains.
Straw. These are rice straw, are they?
Yeah, they are rice straw. But of course, we need to make sure no two silkworms are too close to each other.
Because otherwise they
Otherwise,
fuse.
the filaments are going to be twisted.
Right.
It's not good. The next step is to sort the good cocoons from the bad ones.
And what makes a bad cocoon?
Well, you can see this is a twin cocoon. So
there are two silkworms inside.
Right, you're right. And then some of them get stains.
Yeah, they're a bit discolored.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So that's sorting the good from the bad.
Yes. Now the silk cocoons are put in the hot water, and the boiling water can dissolve the natural glue of the silk cocoons.
And what is she doing here?
Now she's using a brush to get the silk ends from the cocoon, and then those ends will be hooked to the machine.
So here it's spinning the silk thread.
Yes.
And you need 8 filaments for the silk thread?
For one thread.
For one thread. And this?
They're called pupas.
So these are the dead silkworms?
That's right. And we can eat them actually.
But you fry them?
Oh yes, we deep fry it, and then we put some salt, pepper. It's crunchy and very delicious.
So every part of the process of making silk is consumable?
That's right.
Great.
As you can see here, this is the final step of getting the cloth. The silk is dyed and woven by machine into cloth.
And that's the final piece of silk?
That's right. We can use it to make beautiful clothes.
Chinese silk is a beautiful fabric, and having a custom garment made is a wonderful memento of a trip to China. In the heart of China's Yangtze River lies the mystical Three Gorges region, long recognized for its towering mountains that seem to reach up and split the clouds. But did you know its backwaters are home to a mysterious lost culture?
Far above me, way up in those cliffs, are the hanging coffins of the Bar people. The Bar people believed that the higher up you were buried, the closer you were to heaven.
What isn't known is who inhabits these coffins. Was it the wealthy? Was it the high officials? Or was it perhaps some of the brave bar soldiers who, legend tells us, performed intimidating dances in the face of their enemies before attacking them? We may never know.
Along this river, there are over 100 coffins. It is said that Bar people lived in Three Gorges region for 2,000 years. But you know, Bar culture is still a mystery. No one knows why they disappeared.
Another little-known fact is the Three Gorges area has long been home to monkeys. Centuries ago, poet Li Bai enjoyed them so much he included them when he wrote, "Endless cries of monkeys echo across the Three Gorges when a light boat takes you through folded mountains." This region is also rich in the herbs used for traditional Chinese medicine, with more than 5,000 varieties sprinkled throughout the forested landscape. And be sure to scan the rugged cliffs for the image of the goddess Guan Yin if you're looking for a change of fortune.
Buddhists believe that Guan Yin was the goddess of compassion. This pointy peak is the mount of Guan Yin, and it's believed if you pray to her like this, your wish will come true.
Graceful arched roof lines, verdant green paths, and exotic forms in stone, all in the shadow of a modern metropolis.
These are the Yuyuan Gardens. Come on in and I'll show you around. The gardens were built for the wealthy Pan family as their retirement home, and is a beautiful and serene place right in the middle of Shanghai.
The garden was conceived during the Ming Dynasty by Pan Yunduan. It took nearly 30 years to finish and consumed almost all the family fortune. Beneath the pristine surface of this tranquil oasis lies an eventful past. It was once the headquarters for a revolutionary movement, attacked by the British and French during the Opium Wars, and then ransacked by the Japanese during World War II. Today, Yuyuan Gardens is a soothing place where the artful play of yin and yang in water and stone create a welcome sense of serenity. An immaculate example of a traditional Chinese garden, twisted sculptures and pathways are found throughout.
It's like a labyrinth in here.
A highlight is the sculpture Exquisite Jade Rock, which was originally intended for the imperial court in Beijing, but was lost in a shipwreck, then salvaged and brought here. Intricate details are found throughout, but the dragons are the most entertaining. They have just 3 claws, since 4 is an unlucky number in China, and only the emperor's imperial dragons can have 5. Look closely and you'll find a frog perched just below the dragon's mouth. It's been said that the frog lives there to catch the dragon's saliva, which has magical properties. And to return the favor, the frog is always ready to scratch the dragon's chin when it itches. In the shadow of modern Beijing, nestled among the trees, lies the hidden world of the Hutong alleyways. These narrow corridors lead to even narrower pathways in a maze where a lot of life is squeezed into a very small space. Pedicabs were once popular here until forbidden by Chairman Mao. Reinstated in 1999,
It's still a great way to get around old Beijing.
in the Hutongs, open spaces reveal the sense of community and simplicity. And behind the tall grey walls, an entirely different world, built upon tradition.
For a slice of real Chinese life, come inside. This is a Beijing courtyard house, also known as a Xi-he-wan.
Inside is an open courtyard surrounded by buildings. The entrance gate to the Xi-he-wan is located at the southeast corner. On the north side, the building is meant for the head of the family and receives the most sun. The east building is for the younger generation, the west building for other relatives, while the south building, known as the opposite house, is a family gathering spot or used by the servants. These days, many Xi-he-wans house multiple families, and some have been dramatically renovated into private homes, hotels, or museums. The Hutongs and Xi-he-wans are a fascinating window into China's past. Chairman Mao lived here for a time, as did noted authors, poets, and Sung Ching-ling, the wife of Sun Yat-sen, leader of the 1911 revolution. She graduated from Wesleyan College in the States, and along with her sisters, one of whom was married to Chiang Kai-shek and the other to the nation's wealthiest man, were a powerful trio in shaping China. Sung Ching-ling spent her last years in the Hutongs, and her residence continues as a museum today. Immerse yourself in the soul and spirit of old Beijing as part of a China exploration with Viking. Let us share with you the traditions and culture of ancient China. Here in China, things are done a little bit differently. Much of life is about finding harmony and balance. The goal is to keep the qi, or life force that flows through all living things, moving smoothly. Where we in the West think of a cold or flu as sickness, to the Chinese it's simply an imbalance that is avoidable if one lives a thoughtful life.
This is how you do your morning exercises in China.
Known as Tai Chi, the deliberate fluid motions provide a harmonious interaction with the surrounding world, essential for keeping the qi in balance. Tea is another conscious step the Chinese embraced long ago. 4 teas are most treasured, each thought to bring many health benefits. Green tea is well known as an aid in preventing cancer. Yellow tea is believed to be good for reducing internal heat. Red tea is said to help with weight loss and preventing strokes, and black tea is thought to reduce high blood pressure and cholesterol. The Chinese have long associated tea with longevity, and it remains valuable in their quest to maintain the body's flow of qi. When the qi is blocked, many Chinese embrace ancient therapies such as herbal medicines, where elements from nature are blended into prescriptions that patients take home and boil, then consume on a daily basis. There are currently more than 8,000 herbs available, and the study and use of these elements dates back more than 2,000 years. Acupuncture has long been a part of Chinese culture and was practiced as far back as 1600 BC.
The body is composed by yin and yang, and the yin and the yang, they should balance. With acupuncture, the needle, they can get deep and the stimulation is strong.
The needles are stimulating one of the body's 20 channels of energy known as meridians. Along these pathways are more than 400 acupuncture points. Needles are strategically placed, sometimes far from the actual problem, in an effort to bring the body back to its natural balance. Cupping is another ancient practice designed to help unblock the qi. The technique dates back to 1000 BC and works by creating a vacuum in a warmed glass cup. Once applied, it gently pulls in the skin, stimulating circulation and releasing toxins, which helps open meridians, restoring balance to the body. Tucked away in China's southeast corner is Jingdezhen, where the art of manipulating minerals and clay with pigments and enamels under scorching heat was established during the Han Dynasty.
We don't know a lot about what they made, but we know that documents said that porcelain was produced in Jingdezhen between 206 and 220 AD.
In the Tang Dynasty, porcelain evolved from being purely utilitarian to items of beauty that were also stunning technical achievements.
Tang brought aesthetics into the porcelain and the quality of fineness, which you often hear in Chinese porcelain, how thinly they could make the ware, how translucent, how ephemeral it was, really.
The Song Dynasty brought an understated elegance to porcelain, and it's still greatly coveted.
Songware was characterized by a creamy glaze, shiny surfaces, and a green underglaze. Very much a greenish tinge.
The Ming Dynasty is well known for its combination of stark white porcelain and rich blue underglaze. But did you know that different emperors required different shades of blue?
For me, the most striking thing about Ming was the fanatical adherence to quality. Many of the mounds of waste porcelain outside Jingdezhen are actually not mounds of items that came out of the kiln ruin. They're mounds of items that the mandarins who were due to take this porcelain to the emperor judged as being imperfect. And they were smashed deliberately.
During the Qing Dynasty, advancements in porcelain accelerated with the introduction of multicoloured overglaze designs, which led to the well-known Famille Rose and Famille Verte palettes.
People get very confused by these terms. In fact, they were just talking about the point at which particular colours were discovered. Colours that were previously unobtainable. And suddenly all the porcelain would be named after that particular colour.
Matching the artistic growth in porcelain was the European appetite for it, and by the 17th century, Chinese porcelain was all the rage. The market was controlled by a handful of East India trading companies who had limited access to China through the port of Canton.
The whole of Canton was a concession area where foreigners were allowed to set foot and trade, but only under license with local merchants.
Because they weren't allowed into the rest of China.
They were not allowed into the rest of China, no, absolutely not. No. When you look at these old bowls, the bowls are dated by the particular flags that are on them. Each country was represented by one East India company, and each one had one hong. Yeah. And so a hong, literally a warehouse, a trading warehouse.
Interesting. History through porcelain.
History, indeed, a lot of history through porcelain.
By the late 18th century, millions of porcelain objects had moved through Canton. But exports declined dramatically with the introduction of European production and chinoiserie, designs that appeared to be Chinese but were in reality imitations from the imaginations of Western artists. The the most famous example being the willow pattern porcelain, whose imagery and legend were created in England. Today, many European export porcelain pieces remain in collections. But tragically, the rise of Chairman Mao and the Cultural Revolution left most of China's most beautiful porcelain in piles of smashed shards. Thankfully, enterprising artists are now reshaping these remnants into pretty keepsakes and jewellery. Probably the only way for most of us to be able to afford our own Ming, Sung or Tang vase. Join Viking as we explore the culture and traditions of ancient China.